After 14 years, Lakers star Russell Westbrook and his agent, Thad Foucher of Wasserman, have parted ways. Foucher telling ESPN irreconcilable differences as the reason for the breakup between he and his longtime client. Westbrook's future with the Lakers remains uncertain as he's set to enter the final season of his $47 million contract, and the two apparently failed to come to an agreement despite Foucher's insistence that his best option is staying with the Lakers. He would go on to say this about Westbrook's market value and future with the team. The marketplace is telling the Lakers they must add additional value with Russell in any trade scenario, and even then, such a trade may require Russell to immediately move on from the new team via buyout. My belief is that this type of transaction only serves to diminish Russell's value, and his best option is to stay with the Lakers, embrace the starting role, and support that Darvin Ham publicly offered. Here's Woj on Russ earlier this morning on Get Up.
In my conversations with Russell Westbrook in this offseason, I think as much as anything, he wants to have success in L.A. This is his fourth team in 4 years. He wants to make this work, but he also knows he's been in trade talks. He continues to be in trade talks. And if there were teams who landed him, who had big cap space and had a really young team, they may not want a player at his stage in his career playing a lot of minutes or even necessarily being on the team because they're in full rebuilds. So it leads to certainly some uncertainty about what next year looks like.
Perk, tell me this. Do you think it's a big deal that Russ parted ways with his agent right now?
Hell yeah, it's a big deal. Yes, it's a big deal, especially at this time. We're talking about two guys, two individuals that had a great relationship, that both made a lot of money throughout this journey together, in Thad and Russell Westbrook. And what Thad is saying from what I'm hearing now, look, it's two sides to every story, right? It's Russ side, it's Thad side, it's actually three sides. Russ side, Thad side, and it's the truth, okay?
Yeah.
Here's the truth, right? Russell Westbrook actually wants out, okay? Russell Westbrook been hearing the trade rumors and things to that nature. That position is to tell Russ, hey, listen, man, what's going on right now? You don't want to be traded again. I believe it's going to be Russ, third or fourth team in the last 4 or 5 years. If he happens to get traded, that is not a good sign for Russell Westbrook, especially after the season he had last year. So what could happen is, in my eyes, this is a make-or-break season for Russell Westbrook. I'm not talking about in the past. We all know that he's a first ballot future Hall of Famer. We know this. We understand that. We're talking about the future now. And if Russell Westbrook don't deliver in this next year, it's going to be crazy to see the drop-off from going from a guy that you're actually a leader, a guy you're a franchise type of player, to all of a sudden that he could possibly be like a guy that's like, do we really want Russ on our team? So Russ has to be careful, but it's a huge deal because Thad walking away, I'm trying to see what other agent is going to step in at this point of Russ' career and take on this type of, this type of player. Not saying Russ is a bad person, but at this point in his career, it get tricky.
Well, you know what, Perk? I disagree with you as far as his agent situation and firing Thad. His agent can't play basketball. And you're at the tail end of your career in terms of making big-time money. So it's not the fact that they can part ways doesn't mean anything. They had a long run. Westbrook is in control of his own destiny. As long as he hires somebody that's dialed into the NBA circles, that understand where the bones are buried at, could communicate not only with the Lakers, but whatever team seeks him out, I think that makes a world of a difference. I don't understand why firing his agent at this point in time has anything to do with Westbrook's career. You said just now, I was listening to you, and you said something along the lines of it could hurt him in the long run. I'm like, well, Westbrook is at the end. He ain't got but a couple more years to play basketball, so I don't know how that could even hurt him. And in terms of that earning power at $40 million, all that sort of stuff, he ain't making that no more. We both, me and you, know that number's over with. He can play basketball for somebody for the next several years, and he's good enough to where somebody be willing, if he fits into their system, to take him, and he doesn't need that agent to do that for him.
Keyshawn, this is where you're so wrong and you're so confused right now. Listen, let me explain something to you. Thad is one of the most respected agents in the business. When you talk about having relationships across the NBA, you don't get no better than Thad, okay? I know this. So you're telling me that you don't believe that Thad don't know what Russ' market value is and how teams are viewing him at this moment?
It's not about the market value. The market value is going to fall where it's supposed to fall at. When you say market value, you making it sound as though Russ is at Russell OKC, and that's not the case in his career where he's at now. He's never going to reach that $47 million number again.
Guess what, Keyshawn? You and I believe or think that. Russell Westbrook doesn't believe or think that. And that's the problem. Like, again, Thad is not the player. You absolutely right. But Russell Westbrook, in his mind, he still believes that he's that guy.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.